Hey guys, this is Carey Martell here, founder of Power Palace Gym here in Newburgh, Oregon. We're bodybuilding, powerlifting, sports conditioning, weight loss kind of gym. It's modeled to be, kind of like a gym from the 80s, early 90s, lots of amazing equipment. And today we're going to talk about preacher curls. Now, we've got two different kinds of preacher curls here at the Power Palace Gym. And there's a purpose behind this, okay? So what most people are probably familiar with at a lot of the more commercial gyms, or if you're buying a preacher curl today, is the flat head preacher curl. In this case, this is a MaxiCam preacher curl that was produced, I'd say somewhere in the late 1980s. By contrast, this is a short head preacher curl. They generally don't make them anymore. I actually can't think of a company right now that is still manufacturing these. This is the original version of a preacher curl. This one in particular came out of a Nautilus fitness center in the which were created in the late 70s, early 80s. I think most of them closed by 1986. So what's the difference between these two? Well, first of all, using preacher curls, use it with either a straight bar, such as one of these straight barbells here, okay, which we have conveniently racked right here. Or you use the easy curl bar, which is this one right here. And there's basically, there's a lot of, honestly, different ways you can do a preacher curl movement. There's the perfect curl, there's spider curls, there's all kinds of stuff, right? But in general, the movement is as thus. You're taking both arms onto a bar and you're bringing it all the way down, and then you're bringing it all the way back up. And you could have it as the underhand grip, as I have it here, or you could have it as an overhand grip. Both of them will generally work the biceps. And some movements, what's different between them is it works different areas of the short head and the long head of the bicep, as well as the forearms here. And there's even some variations that will pull the tricep in a little bit, but I'm not going to talk about some of those variations. Honestly, if you want a really detailed history of the classic preacher curls that were done by a lot of the people that are on this wall here, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, then you should definitely check out the channel Golden Era Bookworm here on YouTube. I'm not associated with them. I'm not, they're not my buddy or anything. I just think they have really fantastic content talking about Silver Age, Golden Age, weightlifting training, the various techniques, and a lot of things that in our very, heavily commercialized industry, the fitness industry, where there's like so many different machines for every damn exercise, and a lot of people are scared to actually use free weights. I think you should definitely check that out. Lots of great information. Moving back to the objective of this video, though, is that the main difference between the short head and the long, flat head, round head, and the long, flat head here, is that you can really get in very deep with your arm. Like you can go past it, which allows you to do a sort of a forearm curl at the bottom of the motions, so you can really work on your forearms. You can't so much do that with the flat head, but because it has this support on your forearm, a lot of people find they can put a little bit more weight onto the bar because their forearm is kind of taken out of the equation a lot more because it's supported down here at the bottom. So they can really focus a lot more heavily on the bicep. So those are really the two differences between them. And why do they not make these short heads anymore? I would say it's probably because a lot of equipment manufacturers just go for the lowest common denominator. Instead of offering two different types of preacher curls, they just offer one type. And I would say this is probably, just a piece of wood wrapped in, some padding is a lot easier to make than having this sort of this round shape to it here. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. And this upholstery looks amazing. And this upholstery, is okay. So that's probably the main difference between them. What would I recommend people do when you're starting out? To be perfectly honest, when you're just starting out with weightlifting, it doesn't really matter what the hell you do, okay? Where the training variations comes in is, what do you enjoy doing? That's really what it comes about when you're first starting out with weight training, is what do you enjoy doing that's going to work the muscles in the way that they need to. Yeah, the muscles of the short and the long head, it's just two muscles, right? The bicep doesn't sound very complicated, but you actually need to have some type of, pressure moving both of them together, interacting with each other, if you really want to use all the fibers in your arm and encourage that bicep to grow, which is why there's always different variations to, as Arnold said, in the Pumping Iron documentary, trying to shock the muscle, trick it. Don't let it get easy, because the human body is a machine. It is one of the most efficient machines ever created, right? It wants to get better at whatever you're doing because it wants to do the least amount of energy expenditure for the most amount of work. So when you start jogging, you find that you can't jog very much. You don't have the endurance. Your body's going to start using, your resources to improve your relationship with the way that you use oxygen and supply it to your muscles to make yourself more efficient at running. When you start weightlifting and you're doing the bicep curl on the preacher machine, right? It becomes more efficient at doing that movement. It increases the strength of your muscles, your muscle fibers, makes them bigger so that it can get more efficient at challenging that particular weight. That's why you have to add weight if you want to get your muscles to continue to grow. So it's just like anything else. You've got to shock the muscles. You've got to challenge your muscles if you want to see continual progress. So these two stands here, like I said, if you want to put on a little bit more weight to challenge your bicep, take your forearm out of the equation a bit, this is what you use. If you want to get a full arm workout, at least in regards of getting the forearm and the bicep in there and get a much more deeper movement onto that shorter head, this is the preacher curl stand to use. Hope this video was informative. Hope you enjoyed it and found something, useful for you. See you in the next one.